Hey guys, this is Shane, Twin-Tailed Demon. And some of you know me as Gothic Rebel. I usually do reactions to 8-Bit Guitar Lord, but he hasn't made a video today yet. He made some yesterday and the day before, and I'm very likely to react to those as well. I just have to react to this one. This might be a short video. I might not be able to record the whole thing. I might make a part 2, but that's, debatable. Let's enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fun with Freaks. I feel like everyone has come into contact with these two-sentence or short-sentence horror stories before on various different platforms of social media. For me, it was Tumblr back when I used Tumblr, which I no longer use. And it was such an interesting concept, the idea of scaring someone so profoundly using only a few sentences. So I actually wondered if maybe there was more out there than just the few that appeared on Tumblr, and of course there was. In fact, there's an entire website dedicated to two-sentence or one-paragraph horror stories,
I just use it like
of which
medicine.
I am going to read to you today, because I feel like it fits my content so well. So without further ado, I am going to read some of these to you right now. I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, waiting under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's someone on my bed." Oh man. You can make a whole movie just off that. A terrible one, but you can make a whole movie. Like, do you remember that YouTube short, which I will link down below because it is actually terrifying, and I cannot remember off the top of my head what it is called. But it's a YouTube short, a horror, where there is this creature, this monster, this demon, that reacts to light. So if the light is out, it will chase you, but if the light is on, or if there's light between you and the creature, it will not come near you. I will link it down below. Be careful. There's a hell of a jump scare at the end that even made me nearly die, so... Okay, so moving on. The doctor told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moments, though, when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom hand.
Like you have an arm and you don't.
Chilling. So, I have read through some of these, and not all of them are winners, as you can imagine, trying to limit horror to such a short medium. So I will read some of these, and you'll be like, what? Because they're just not great. I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. Oh, I like that one. Because, you know, that sort of plays into the fear of like, what if I wake up? Like, if I'm buried, what if I wake up? So here's another one. Don't be afraid of the monsters. Just look for them. Look to your left, look to your right, look under your bed, behind your dresser, in your closet, but never look up.
You can tell I'm not new with this because look. If you inhale often, that means you're
follows
used to smoking, usually.
Floating above you. Yeah, like I said, not all of them are winners. I woke up to hear knocking on glass. At first, I thought it was the window, until I heard it come for the mirror again. They celebrated the first successful cryogenic freezing. He had no way of letting them know that he was still conscious.
You do slowly.
See, I've always wondered stuff like that. Like, you see in the cartoons and the movies, like, you know, people frozen in ice or whatever, and then they defrost them, and they're just like, "Oh, thank you for saving me." But, like, do you ever think you'd still be alive, right? Okay, here's one that's not quite a winner. She wondered why she was casting two shadows. After all, there was only one single light bulb.
My fucking service ran out.
It sat on my shelf with thoughtless porcelain eyes and the prettiest pink doll dress I could find. Why did she have to be stillborn? That reminds me of this story of this Russian guy, actually, who would exhume the graves of dead children and cover their bodies in plaster and dress them up. And he had, I'm not entirely sure of the full details of the story. It's been a while since I read it, but there were lots of little girls in his house that were all decorated around his house. It was truly, truly horrifying. The grinning face stared at me from the darkness window. I live on the 14th floor. There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone. And
goes
that
up
also
under
reminds me of
here and
a
it
story that I
lifts
saw.
slowly
I
through my
don't know if
eye.
it was on Tumblr or not from all those
The
years ago, but
smoke.
there was this couple who had fallen asleep with their laptop open because they were watching a movie. And when they woke up, they found that someone had hacked into their webcam, taken a photo, and sent it to them
You can
saying that you look so cute when you're
these
asleep.
edges to sharpen
But
the
I've
knife,
only
by
ever
the
seen
way.
this happen once, and I've heard no other stories of this actually happening, or if it's even possible to do. So I much like everything on Tumblr, I question its authenticity. Okay, so here's another one. My
Fix
girlfriend
this.
asked me why I was breathing so heavily. I wasn't. Working the night shift alone tonight.
After 47 years in Washington, Joe Biden on China.
They're not bad folks,
I don't like
but guess
to
what? They're not
get on
they're
my
not
fancy
competition
stuff.
for us.
I'm wearing a suit
Joe
for the
Biden
video, by the
just
way. I want to
doesn't
look
make
fancy
sense.
for one video or something.
There was a face in the cellar staring at the security camera. Okay, so we're delving into the ones I haven't actually pre-read yet. So these, I'm just reading them and saying how they end as I read it. They delivered the mannequins in bubble wrap. From the main room, I began to hear popping. That one's far less nefarious. I like the idea of a possessed mannequin simply just popping the packaging. You wake up. She doesn't. That just sounds like a regular morning for me. You get home, tired after a long day's work, and ready for a relaxing night alone. You reach for the light switch, but another hand is already there. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help. Now this is true horror. Day 312. Internet still not working.
Oh god, that would be bad.
That's the scariest thing. That's it. End of
Oh
video.
my
Thanks
God.
everyone. You start to drift off into a comfortable sleep when you hear your name being whispered. You live alone. I think a lot of these hint to living alone. I heard someone washing up in the kitchen.
Guys, I
live
gotta
alone.
get something to eat real quick. Tell me how my editing skills are. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. I had to get some food. And
It's someone
some tea.
taking a shit in my bathroom. I live alone. You know, like you can pretty much you can make everything scary by ending it with "you live alone."
And I bet
My
I gotta
wife
do
woke me
something,
up
so my
last
next
night
video
to tell me there was an
might be
intruder
like
in our
part 2 of
house.
this, so I'll just save it on
She
my
was murdered
list.
by an intruder 2 years ago.
Sorry about
Now,
the background
this one
noise.
plays into a very real fear. I think we carry from childhood into our adult lives. You're laying
Water
in bed, and with your
height,
feet
I know.
dangling out of the covers, you feel a hand grab your foot.
Oh yeah, roaches bother me.
You know, it's not really a thinker. It's more just a, yeah. That's why I don't leave my hands. Who does that? Who leaves their hands and feet dangling off the side of that? I don't even have an under the bed, and I still don't do that. The funeral attendees never came out of the catacombs. Something locked the crypt door from the inside. Not entirely sure what that means. Why would funeral attendees be in the catacombs? The officer finally got back to me.
Damn.
The call was coming from inside the house.
make his
Now that's
cheese
ambiguous. Was the call from the officer coming from inside the house, or what?
Screw it.
You okay? This is a regular
Yes.
occurrence in this house. What happened? Be more careful, okay? I was having a pleasant dream when what sounded like hammering woke me up. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own screams. Again, playing into the idea of being buried alive. You know, there's actually people in America, obviously, that have, like, contingency plans for being buried alive. Like, people are so terrified of the idea
That
of
has
being
happened
buried
to
alive
people.
that they actually have pre-existing plans to escape it, which, to me, I do wonder what these plans would be, because if you're buried alive, usually you're not prepared. It's usually something you're done against your will, with nothing. This is a good one. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. I'm noticing a pattern here. I'm noticing things that wouldn't be weird if weird because there's only one person. After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I didn't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there. See, now that one gave me chills. Oh.
It's hard.
Oh man, I actually had like that cold
Finding
chill and that tingling
time
that
of day
happens
where
on
you
the
can
back of
just
your spine. As I was reading
feel
that,
good,
I was just
dress
like,
good,
this isn't
make a
that
nice
scary.
video when
It's just
there's
another one of
things
those
going
like,
around you.
oh, the ghost of my thing, I don't realize it. But no, that one actually got me. Oh, now this is another famous one. You will seldom find anyone who hasn't heard this one before. You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you're heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey, I heard it too." "Officer, I just looked away for a second and my baby was gone," I sobbed helplessly. "That's better. I sounded much more convincing this time," I thought with a smile as I finally picked up the phone to call the police. It's an asshole. It's a story, it's a short story, it's a one paragraph about an asshole. This one's good. "I never go to sleep, but I keep waking up." It's like a Matrix thing. Nurse's note. Born 7 pounds and 10 ounces, 18 inches long, 32 fully formed
He's dreaming
teeth.
about waking up.
Silent,
I've had dreams like that before.
always smiling.
I'm doing that about it in
Imagine
school when I was in school.
Imagine a newborn baby with a mouth full of fully formed adult teeth.
It'd be cool.
Man, see, this one isn't so much a thinker or one that gets you by the end. It's more just a mother's worst nightmare. She went upstairs to check on her sleeping
By
toddler.
Mountain Dew and
The
PS4.
window was open and the bed
That's
was
for
empty.
you, 8-bit guitar. I got
I like
another
this
one
one.
right here.
The longer I
Hold on,
wore it, the
repair.
more it grew on me. She had such pretty skin. I found a dead body in my trunk today,
Oh, that's
which is
that
strange
got
because I
creepy
remember
fast.
putting 2
Most
in there
women have
yesterday.
good-looking skin.
Such inconvenience.
Not all.
You hear the scream
Those
across
two.
the hallway, but your eyes won't open
Between
and you
20
can't
and
move. I've actually had something like this
between
happen to
20
me
and
before. I don't know if you
45-year-old
guys are
women
familiar
usually
with
have very
sleep
nice skin.
paralysis. In fact, I want you guys to leave us
Until
your
they get
comments if
older.
you have had sleep
And
paralysis.
of
I want you
course,
guys to
if
tell
they're
us
Japanese,
what it was
they
like,
have
because I'm about to
really
tell you what
nice
mine was
skin.
like. So
Japanese women
I've
are
had sleep
fucking
paralysis once,
beautiful.
and
I know,
it was
my
horrific.
girlfriend's
It was really,
Japanese.
really scary. And
Don't ask her name
it is
'cause she's very
indeed as
private. I
that
can't give away
one
information.
sentence actually. There's only one full
But I
stop
love
in
her
it.
dearly.
One period. And you can't move and you can't make any noises. You just all you can do is breathe and look. That's it. And for me,